Yes, welcome back to another daily roundup, and what a day it has been in the world of Manchester City news. Trust me, it all popped off today. So many things going on, new incomings, outgoings, contract extensions, and of course links to new players as well. The first piece of news that came out today was from Jack Gaughan, a very reliable source in Manchester City news, and he said Man City were very interested in signing Eze from Crystal Palace, a highly rated midfielder who is set to cost anywhere upwards from £70 million. Now, we knew the Paqueta deal had come to a complete close. Paqueta was not going to come to Manchester City. Sky Sports reported that this morning as well. So City would turn their attention elsewhere. Now, it seemed originally from the first piece of news regarding Eze this morning that he was going to be our sole target this summer. He was the next midfielder we were going to put our interest in. But no, as soon as we hit end stream on our stream about Eze this morning, David Ornstein came out with the news that City are very interested in signing Matthias Nunes from Wolves, a player that City have been interested before, back when he was playing for Sporting Lisbon, but he went to Wolves at that time. We have renewed our interest at this point, and it was all popping off. We were deciding, do we want Eze? Do we want Nunes? Is there a possibility of both? What does this mean for Calvin Phillips? Does bringing in Nunes mean Calvin Phillips is going to leave? We know Calvin Phillips wants to stay and fight for his place, but Nunes can play a deeper lying role, and having him and Kovacic there as possible number 6 covers for Rodri, that spells a pretty hard time for Calvin Phillips in terms of getting general game time. The next piece of news that came out was, of course, Bernardo Silva has signed a contract extension at Manchester City. Will he, won't he stay? Yes, he is staying. He has signed the extension announced by the club today. He's done an interview for the club's official media platforms, talking about how happy he is at Manchester City. The contract it's a 1-year extension taking him up to 2026. That will mean he will have completed 9 seasons at the club should he complete these 3 years on the remainder of his contract. He spoke in his interview about how he wants to make a legacy. He's in a world-class team. He's got a world-class coach. And this is everything we wanted from the Bernardo Silva situation. We wanted to know essentially just clarity. We wanted to know, was he going to leave? Was he going to stay? How can you replace Bernardo Silva? Obviously, we've been linked with midfielders all summer, but Bernardo, for me, securing him to a new contract is as good as a new signing, essentially, because I don't think you can replace Bernardo Silva easily. So absolutely huge news for Manchester City to hold on to Bernardo Silva, a fan favourite, of course, as well. His song is class. The next piece of news that came out today was, of course, Aymeric Laporte has completed his move to Al Nassr in Saudi Arabia. He made a very emotional video he posted on his social media platforms, essentially saying farewell to Manchester City, fans, the club, the players, the staff. He put a bit of a montage of some of his highlights and his best moments at the club, and even some of his sad moments, essentially just highlighting the journey that he has had since arriving in that January transfer window many years ago. Now, what a servant to the club Aymeric Laporte has been. When I think of him, I always think of that season where we beat Aston Villa on the last day of the season. You know, Aymeric Laporte playing on painkillers and injections, essentially one of our only fit centre-halves. It really pulled us over the line, dragged us over the line to win that Premier League, scoring against Brighton away as well that year. So, you know, Aymeric Laporte, he deserves to go and get his money in Saudi Arabia. I'm very disappointed that no Champions League level club came in for him. I think at 29 years old, he still had a lot to offer at European football's highest level. But if that's not going to happen for him, he deserves to go and get a fat bag in Saudi Arabia, you know. He's won it all, Aymeric Laporte. He's won multiple Premier Leagues. He's a treble winner, Champions League winner. You know the drill, people. Aymeric Laporte deserves to go and get his money up with his family and kids. So that's great for Aymeric Laporte, and we wish him all the best. The next piece of news, a slightly more positive note. Jeremy Doku, someone who we tracked his flight last night, he completed his medical early this morning at the CFA and has completed his signing at Manchester City Football Club, a 5-year contract for Jeremy Doku at Manchester City. I am so excited to see how Jeremy Doku does in this team. I've spoke to you guys a lot about how it's a brand new dynamic, a whole different type of player, but his deal is complete. He is officially a Manchester City player. I don't think the club have formally announced it, but we do know that his contract has been signed and medical is done. 5-year contract. Jeremy Doku, welcome to Manchester City. 65 million euros, by the way, that deal was Stade Rennais will get, which is in the region of 55 million pounds. I think that is pretty good business for Jeremy Doku at 55 million pounds. 21 years old, you know, a lot of growth and development to do, and we're better than Manchester City right now. The next and final piece of news in this crazy day of Manchester City news is, of course, that City have completed personal terms with Matthias Nunes. I spoke to you at the start of this video from David Ornstein's report saying that City were very interested in acquiring the services of Matthias Nunes. Fast forward about 10 hours and they have completed and agreed on personal terms, and City are formalising a bid for Matthias Nunes. I believe it's in the region of around 50 million pounds or somewhere around there. It's all moving so fast, it's actually quite hard to keep on top of. You can imagine for people like myself making content, constantly having to check Twitter and go live and make videos. It's happening right in front of us, so as it happens we will keep bringing you the content. But City have agreed personal terms with Nunes. Is this a signing you would be happy about? I already spoke about how it probably is a negative impact for Calvin Phillips. I think Pep has no trust in Calvin Phillips, and Nunes, of course, being a midfielder going forward, he can play in that deeper lying role. Pep wants him. Jack Gaughan said we want Eze too. Could we get both? If you add the two figures quoted for both those players, you're looking at about 120 to 125 million to get both Eze and Matthias Nunes this summer. And I want to ask you guys a question before I wrap up this video. Would a summer transfer window this summer of Doku, Vardiol, Kovacic, Nunes and Eze be a 10 out of 10 transfer window? And that's before you factor in the Bernardo Silva extension, the Kyle Walker extension, the Nathan Ake extension and the Rico Lewis extension. For me, if we could somehow complete both Eze and Matthias Nunes, that would be a 10 out of 10 transfer window, an absolute statement, stamp of authority that we intend to keep pushing for success. So a crazy day in Manchester City news. Please get all of your thoughts down below in the comments on all of these pieces of news. They're all very big in their own right. If you as well smash a like on this video, massively helps us grow this channel, and subscribe if you're new on the road to 100k, and we'll see you tomorrow with some brand new content. See you in a bit.